Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending. I'll take just a minute to introduce myself. I'm Tom Pearson, and I have a life coaching business called Own My Greatness. Now, I've been involved in the performance improvement and professional advancement world for about 22 years. I'm one of those people who has changed careers multiple times, at least 6 times, depending on how you define change. I was just always trying to figure out what it was I liked doing most and what I wanted to do for the remainder of my career. And now I've chosen that. But to start this coaching business, I quit my corporate job. I walked away from a very nice compensation, perks, and benefits package that comes along with working for large corporations to go after my passion and my dream, which is to support myself and other people in getting what we really want in our lives, by learning and applying the techniques that have worked for me, have worked for my clients, and hundreds of other people that I know. I'll be very honest with you, I had a few mental barriers to overcome first. Really, throughout my career, I've faced fears and insecurities and worries, because I've had to do a lot of things over time that I hadn't done before, wasn't comfortable with, wasn't familiar with. But I've learned the techniques for overcoming fears and self-doubts and worries. And I did this, and in doing this, I improved how I think, what I think about, and started doing more of the right things. Now that's why I'm so excited to teach and coach people how to get better results, so they can achieve better results. They can succeed in what it is that's important to them. And you know what? Most people want to pursue their dreams and their goals. The people I talk to, my opportunity, the opportunity I have to be a part of that is incredibly rewarding to me. So what I speak to you about today is something that I've benefited from myself. I've personally witnessed, like I said, hundreds of other people benefit from, which is to do more with the knowledge and the skills that we already have to increase our performance and achieve better results in both our professional and our personal lives. Now, let me maybe make a quick note or two about the structure of this webinar. Because I've shortened this webinar to 30 minutes, we will not have time for Q&A at the end. However, I do want to address any questions that you have, so please feel free to email or call me. You have my information on your screen, and I'll provide that same information when we finish up today. I want you also to know that you can use the pause button if you get interrupted during the course of this webinar, and then go right back at where you left off, or you can hit the live button, which allows you to catch up with us. You also have a full screen button, which should be on the lower right hand side of your screen there. One more thing I will say, I won't be selling anything during or at the end of this presentation. However, I will invite you to take me up on a free consultation to talk with you about you. That's right. What is it that you want to achieve, and what do you want to get in your life? Now, here's what you can do to get the most out of this webinar. First, be open-minded and resist the temptation to prejudge. Just take it in. Secondly, think about your actions, specifically about the actions you're not taking, but should be taking to get more of what you want. And also be aware of the feelings that you have about the things that you're not doing. What's causing you to avoid doing those things? Now, if you do what I just suggested, expect these payoffs. And these I call the 3 Gs. Get your 3 Gs worth. And that is get smarter on the psychology and the science behind your choices to do or to not do the things that you need to do. Gain self-awareness and start to recognize what you avoid doing and why. And thirdly, start to understand how big your gap is, the gap between what you know and what you do. What this gap is costing you and how to begin to close that gap. Now, I'd like to start by quickly sharing with you my opinion about the broader topic of human potential. First, we all have so much more talent and capability than we give ourselves credit for. And the issue there is that we simply lack faith in ourselves sometimes, which keeps us stuck and not doing what we should be doing. Secondly, our thoughts cause our feelings then cause our actions, and our actions, of course, cause the results that we get. So this is the universal law of cause and effect at work. So if you want better results than you're currently getting, you have to choose better actions, clearly, which will require that you go right to the beginning, and that is to choose a better way of thinking. And by that I mean a way of thinking that has proven to be associated with success. We also need support from others to do our best. That other person could be our boss, our peer, a mentor, a coach. But you know what? Many of us do not seek that support. And we don't seek it from the people who can and want to help us. And last, we cannot reach our potential without fully acting on the knowledge that we already have, which is the topic of this webinar. And I'll speak to all these points during the course of this webinar. So let me stop right here and ask you something. What is it exactly that you want to achieve or have? You see, we all want something more, bigger, better, greater. There's something out there that we want. And we want to be the star in our own movie, so to speak, right? We're all searching for a way to get better results in our professional life as well as our personal life. I mean, isn't that true for you? It's true for me. I know it's true for my clients and everyone I talk to. This webinar will especially be valuable to you if you can answer yes to the following question. If you did all the things that you already know how to do, would your results be better than they are now? Let me ask that just a little differently. If you did all the things you know you should be doing to grow your business or career, would your results be better than they are now? So let's stop and think of a few things you could be doing more of that would improve the results you're getting in your business or your career. How about creating and executing your business plan or your career plan? Or how about some more tactical things like leading more presentations or meetings with customers or colleagues, or communicating more often and more effectively with your staff, or increasing your sales prospecting activities or job search activities, volunteering for high visibility projects, attending professional networking events, and the list goes on. But now, think about the cost of not doing the things I just mentioned or any other actions that would lead to better results in your business or your career. What is the price that you are paying? And what sacrifices are you making in your career or business by not taking these actions? I would suggest promotions, sales, business profits, annual compensation, leadership effectiveness, employee retention and productivity. And again, the list goes on, but this gets to the heart of what is at stake when you hold yourself back and settle for lesser results than you're capable of achieving. And here's the thing. You will pay a price, both professionally and personally, in settling for lesser results at work. And it's not just you who pays the price. The results we get in our professional life certainly impacts our personal life from a financial point of view, from an emotional point of view. So again, ask yourself, how much is this really costing me? Now, I'd like to focus on three main points during the rest of this webinar, and the first of which is the biggest performance problem most of us face is our knowing-doing gap. Now, this is the gap between what you know and what you do, and this gap can be enormous for many people. In fact, I'll just say that it's but a very, very few people that have no gap at all, who are acting 100% on all the knowledge that they have. So the rest of us certainly have a gap. For some of us, it can be very, very big. And the point of this is that knowing is not enough. In school, we're taught to know things. We're taught to read, remember, repeat, pass an exam, get a good grade. but we're often not taught to actually do things, to apply the knowledge in real life. So how much better would your results be if you utilized all of your knowledge? I mean, really think about that. Because knowledge is not enough. It takes doing, it takes action to get results. I mean, it's perfectly logical that we would achieve greater results if we simply did more with the knowledge we already have. Yet often we justify or excuse ourselves from acting on our knowledge by telling ourselves things like, I'm more comfortable doing it my way, or I've had some success doing it my way, or a new or different approach is no sure thing, or that won't work with my customers, employees, colleagues, or whomever. But what's troubling about this is that most people won't change what they're doing until they feel forced to do so as a result of underperformance. Forced by their boss who's demanding better results, or they force themselves when they're not making enough money, or not getting promoted or recognized, or worse yet, feeling the stress of losing their job or their business. Wow, isn't that a powerful reason to address this gap now? Well, I believe that significantly more success is attainable using the knowledge and skills that you currently have. Greater success, therefore, is literally at your fingertips. And I agree with my mentor, Bob Proctor, who says, no amount of reading or memorizing will make you successful in life. It is both the understanding and application of wise thought that counts. And that's why 90% of the population continue to get the same result over and over. That's right. And you know what? This was happening to me. I saw it happen to many of my coworkers as well during my career. I mean, we were stuck getting essentially the same results because we were not taking action on everything that we knew we should be doing. So again, to summarize this point, the knowing-doing gap is the biggest performance problem and opportunity for most of us. My second key point is really focused around fear. Fear is the primary cause of our knowing-doing gap. That's right, fear. Now, what types of fears? Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of poverty, even fear of success, fear of embarrassment. Where do these fears come from? Well, these fears come from our own insecurities, our self-doubts, our worries, and these are tied to the negative parts of our self-image and our beliefs. These negatives, parts of our self-image and beliefs are commonly referred to as our paradigm. We're going to use that word frequently. Your paradigm is made up of your beliefs about yourself and others, your habits, your behavioral patterns, the way you've been influenced, conditioned, programmed throughout your life by your environment, by big events or experiences that have happened in your life, and by people who have had a very influential role in your life and whose beliefs, habits, and self-image you unconsciously adopted. Foremost, from your parents, other family members, friends, teachers, coaches, could be a variety of people. Now, how did your negative and limiting beliefs get created? Well, you, a family member, a friend, a coach, a teacher, whomever, someone with influence on you told you something and you believed it. For example, perhaps one of these people said something to you like, you'll never be enough, good enough, smart enough, creative enough, educated enough. You'll never learn. You're an idiot. You're helpless. You're going to fail. And on and on and on. And you took that to heart and began believing it, despite all the evidence to the contrary, despite your good grades, despite your accomplishments. Now, paradigms really do control most of what happens in our life. They control our perception of ourselves and of the world around us, which definitely controls our logic, our productivity, and ultimately our ability to achieve what it is we want. The thing is, most of our negative self-doubts are lies. They're fabrications. They're not based on facts or reality. Regardless, these negative beliefs are stored in your subconscious mind, and they continue choosing your actions or lack of action until you decide to reprogram your mind. And by that I mean reprogramming your beliefs, your paradigm. Most people wait to change their thinking until the cost of living with their existing negative thoughts and actions become too great to bear any longer. So how does our negative paradigm control our behavior exactly? Well, our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, they act like a thermostat or an autopilot in that they control our movement. They keep us right where we are, locked into our present and unfulfilling results. You have to change your paradigm if you want to change your results, which will require strong conscious control over your thinking. So let me reassure you that anyone who has ever accomplished anything significant has experienced doubt, fear, and anxiety. I mean, fear and growth go hand in hand. When you courageously face your fears, you automatically experience the growth that you're seeking. And in turn, you have removed the barrier to the results that you want. So it's okay to experience negative emotions, but we must be able to dismiss these feelings and instead switch to a positive, empowering channel of thinking, similar to how you would switch channels on your TV or radio to get a more pleasing program. Well, tuning into this new positive channel of thinking will empower you to take actions that you would not have otherwise taken. Know that there are methods for changing your self-beliefs and habits with more empowering positive ones. And I'm going to provide some examples of those in a few minutes. But yes, you can change your thinking, which will change your actions, which will change your results. Numerous studies and books have been written about how top performers, high achievers, the highly successful people think and behave. And they operate with a different paradigm and belief system than the non-achievers. And these books and studies agree on nearly every point. Success takes self-confidence, passion, desire, persistence, decisiveness, responsibility, all of which can be created and improved upon by it for ourselves. And to illustrate a point, haven't you known a person who has been referred to as an overachiever? I've known people who are not well educated, even functionally illiterate, and yet accomplished great success in their career or business. And it's because they operate with a high achiever paradigm. On the other hand, haven't you known someone who's been referred to as an underachiever? Now, they are absolutely brilliant and skilled, but not accomplishing anything of significance. Why? Because their belief system is holding them back from using what they know. Success primarily lies in our belief system, our paradigm. And once we upgrade our personal belief system, we will tap into our potential and achieve greater results than ever before. Isn't that powerful? My third point is changing and improving our belief system, our paradigm, is the fastest path to greater results because it closes the knowing-doing gap. Changing your paradigm starts with awareness, becoming aware of what your negative beliefs, thoughts, habits, and feelings are. That takes being honest with yourself and being honest with your coach or mentor if you have one about what holds you back from doing what you know you should be doing. Reprogramming your mind also requires a conscious choice about your mental environment. Control what you allow into your conscious mind, what you choose to read, listen to, watch, and who you choose to be with. What thoughts and ideas are you being exposed to? Because where your attention goes, your energy will flow. Now, you see, we become what we think about. This is supported in philosophy, psychology, and theology, and it's been documented in books and writings for centuries. The quote, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he," is a proverb from the Old Testament. You can turn to groundbreaking books like Think and Grow Rich, written in the 1930s, The Power of Positive Thinking, written in the 50s, Psycho-Cybernetics, written in the 60s. I mean, this isn't anything new, although there are people who are currently leading the charge, people like my mentor, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Deepak Chopra, Joe Vitale, and so many more. Then bookstores and libraries certainly have shelves full of these types of books. I mean, the information is widely available. It's right there for the taking. Now, creating this new paradigm, your new paradigm and self-belief system will require three things. It's going to require imagination, repetition, and willpower. Well, let's start with imagination. This is an incredible mental faculty that we all possess, though it goes underutilized by most of us. You see, we think in images. That's how our brain processes and stores information. Using our imagination, we have the ability to create an image on the screen of our mind of the person we want to become, of the results that we want to achieve, of anything we want to have. The problem is most of us use our imagination to imagine the worst case outcomes, which of course stokes the fires of fear and anxiety in us. And again, these images of failure have very strong emotional impact. These thoughts either stop us from taking any action at all, or certainly limit the amount of action that we do take. So we must harness the power of our imagination to build supportive, positive images of what we want to have, who we want to become, and what we want to achieve. So how exactly do we create this image of ourselves, this new belief? Well, some of the most common techniques for doing this are autosuggestion. Now, this is the repetition of verbal messages, and it's done as a means to change the perception that you have of yourself or of a situation, and ultimately will change your actions towards those. Affirmations, you hear that commonly, again, statements which will suggest a better, new sort of self-concept. Meditation is a big, widely used tool. You can get recordings, audio recordings, that focus on a specific belief that you want to adopt or a habit that you want to change. Visualization is also very powerful. Visual triggers such as visualization boards, or there's software out there like mindmovies.com where you can build a movie to visualize what it is that you want. Writing is also very, very important, because writing causes you to think, and thinking creates a mental image. And the mental image stirs our emotions, and emotions are the catalyst for most of the actions that we take. Oprah Winfrey and actor-comedian Jim Carrey credit much of their success to utilizing the techniques I just mentioned: autosuggestion, visualization, writing. And I would invite you to go do a search on YouTube on Oprah Winfrey and Jim Carrey and listen to them talk about how it's impacted their lives. Now let's address repetition. Now, some people think it's silly to repeat something to yourself over and over and over again. And you know what? It does kind of feel a little silly at first. But when you stop to think about how most of your current negative beliefs and self-image were created, it was because we or someone else repeatedly told us that we lacked something or we should be afraid of something, and we began believing it. So we use the same technique, repetition, to create new and more empowering belief systems. I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? Repeating a new positive self-concept will, over time, formulate a new, stronger self-image, a new habit in how you think of yourself. Again, the key is to repeatedly, and I mean daily, focus your eyes and your ears on the type of person you want to become, the life you want to have, the things that you want to achieve, and in as much vivid detail as possible. Now, willpower. Willpower is another mental faculty that plays a very important role. And willpower is simply the ability to hold that image that we're creating of ourselves, or the image of the result that we want, hold it in our mind against all distracting and contradictory thoughts. So again, the three ingredients to change a paradigm are imagination, repetition, and willpower. And I'm happy to discuss these techniques that I mentioned to you earlier: autosuggestion, visualization, writing, etc. Happy to discuss those with you in a follow-up conversation. Now, the bottom line is that we must change the image of ourselves that we hold in our mind, and we must create a new and better image that is emotionally powerful. We must repeatedly focus our thoughts on that new image, and then we must utilize our willpower to hold the image in our mind. And when we do all these things, our self-confidence grows, and we then operate from a position of faith in ourselves, faith in achieving the results that we want. So let's talk about the actions that you're, excuse me for a second. I'm going to change gears. I want to ask you a question. Are you choosing faith or fear as the primary driver of your thoughts, your actions, your results? Because you know what? Faith and fear, they both demand that you believe in something you cannot see, but you get to choose. And my hope is that you'll choose faith, because we all have incredible amounts of talent and capability, more than we realize. It's just that somewhere or sometime in our lives, we may have bought into thinking negatively about ourselves, and this way of thinking, these negative beliefs, are keeping us from getting an abundance of the things that we really want in our lives, like wealth, health, love, fulfillment. So if you want better results, you can have it. You really can have it. You simply need to choose a better way of thinking. So let me recap the 3 points that I shared with you. First, our biggest obstacle to better performance and results is our knowing-doing gap. Secondly, fear is the primary cause of our knowing-doing gap. Again, these self-doubts, insecurities, worries. And third, changing our paradigm, our belief system, is the fastest path to greater results. So you see, the only thing that we can truly control in our life is our state of mind, and that controls our results. Now, if you're open-minded and aspiring for more in your career or business, I strongly encourage you to do 3 things. First, increase your awareness. Read books, attend seminars, talk to me, do something, take action. Secondly, get a coach or a mentor. You know, we cannot reach our full potential without support from others, as I mentioned earlier on. Every person who's ever accomplished anything great was guided by someone else. And this is true in business, science, academia, entertainment, sport, you name it, sports, every profession. You know, in business, the relationship between CEOs and coaches is pretty closely guarded secret. I've seen a report that stated that approximately 40% of CEOs have received coaching, and over 80% of CEOs are open to receiving more coaching. So why shouldn't you be open to coaching or mentoring? I know I am. It's a very, very valuable part of growing and improving our results. And here's one more stat for you. Training alone can increase your productivity by 22%. Training, when combined with coaching, increases productivity by 88%, 4 times more. Lastly is my offer. I want you to take me up on this offer. My offer is a complimentary 30-minute consultation, a phone conversation. Let's talk about the area of your professional or personal life that you want better results in, and why achieving more is important to you. Let's talk about the actions that you're not taking at all or not taking enough of, and what feelings you have that may be causing the lack of action. And then we'll talk about resources and options to help you close your knowing-doing gap, whether it's things that you can do by yourself that I can provide to you, point you in the right direction, or a coaching program. But you have my information right here. You've got my phone number, my email. Contact me, and let's schedule 30 minutes to talk. Now, I'm going to leave you with something else to think about, and that is the golden opportunity that you are seeking is in you. It is not in luck or chance. It's not in wishful thinking or hope. It's not to be given to you by others. It is in you alone. And in other words, opportunities and results won't just happen for you. They will happen because of you. Results are a manifestation of what you think and what you do. I love this little line, a short line by Napoleon Hill, who says, use your mind intelligently or it will use you. So I'm going to finish by sharing two more things that I know to be absolutely true. First, you are truly capable and deserving of achieving your goals and your dreams. And secondly, I can help you get there. So please take me up on my complimentary consultation offer. Well, that's going to wrap up today's webinar. You should receive, by the way, an email that gives you access to a recording of this webinar so that you can listen to it over and over again. And I want to really thank you for sharing the past 30 minutes with me. And I look forward to speaking with you again very, very soon. Thank you so much.